Okay, Zander, you here?
How's it going?
Hi, how
Cool.
are you?
Can everybody see me? Is it good?
Yeah. Nice.
Sweet. Thanks for your time today, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for coming. We are going to start in 2 or 3 minutes. We're just going to wait for everyone to come online. But in the meantime, could you please just say in the chat room, introduce yourself and say where you're from. We just want to get to know where everyone's from.
People are flying in here. Great.
So we have people from all over, from Cape Town. We have Patricia from Zimbabwe, Lisa from Stellenbosch, and people from Wits, UJ, UCT, everywhere. So that's great.
Yeah, it looks like there's a big Cape Town following. Well done. I mean,
Yeah.
to be in the
Krista,
top.
do you run Golden Key like on the student side of things?
Yeah. Just one of the portfolios.
Okay. And I mean, because it's obviously a global society. So do you do it within the whole Southern Africa, or is it South Africa specifically?
I'm just for UCT. Each university has their own chapter.
Oh, okay. Okay. And has the message gone out towards all of them, or is this? I mean, obviously, it looks like there's a couple from.
Yeah, this
Victoria,
is. Yeah.
How did they get the message out to join the UCT chapter?
This event is for all of Southern Africa.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome here.
Okay, so I think we're going to start now. So hi everyone again, and thank you so much for coming in today. So today we're pleased to welcome our speakers, Brandon Bate and Zander Matthee. They are 2 young entrepreneurs who are breaking into the investor and entrepreneur space with a really amazing business. So after matriculating in 2016, Merge was founded by Zander and Brandon, who met in high school. Merge is an app that connects entrepreneurs with investors. And since founding the company, they've raised over $100,000 from platform capital, over 700,000 Rand from other investors, and have had over 700 entrepreneurs and investors use their app and service. So today, Zander and Brandon will be talking about their company, how it was founded, and their entrepreneurial journey. So we're so lucky and thankful to have you guys here today. But before I hand over to you, I'd just like to ask everyone to please send their questions only through the Q&A bottom at the bottom of your screen. And please do not use the chat room for questions, and we will pass on the questions to Brandon and Zander when appropriate. So I'd like to hand over to them now to, just talk to us about their journey.
Great, thank you for the introduction, Kirsten. I think what you guys are doing is amazing, and we're very grateful for this opportunity. I mean, we're probably younger than most of the people that are here. We were lucky enough to realize what we wanted to do, and took a risk in trying to do it. And the world, and when I say the world, I mean the world's been adopting what we've been putting out there at a tremendous rate. And where we kind of want to go with this conversation to set a precedent for how this is going to flow. I've just got something like a short, you know, almost call it like a short little bar that I want to set, explaining, you know, what we want to do, who we want to inspire, what our objectives are. And then I think, you know, while that goes on for a quick, you know, 10-minute conversation that I'm going to have, I think what we should do is, you know, roll those questions through so long. I think I always felt that, you know, the personal aspect of how we deal with people is partly why we've gotten as far as we have. And I feel like answering specific questions that you guys have would definitely put us in a better place, because we are here to help and to inspire and just to, you know, grow the broader community. Is there anything else you want to add to that, Ben?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I think we really want to let you guys know how the journey's happened, what's kept us going, what's worked, what hasn't worked. Yeah, just like this really giving perspective on entrepreneurial as an option from younger type of people, you know?
Yeah, so I mean, like we said, so, you know, we no different to you guys. We full of dreams, with the world ahead of us and a burning desire to change it. We've always been like that. I think it's something that's, you know, that's inherent, but I think it's also something that comes with age. We're young. We have the world ahead of us, and we wanna change it. I think that's something that we should never let go of, and that's something that we should always see, you know, aim to foster and kindle into something that's much more into something that's beautiful and impactful in the future. Because I think you know, thinking small does not serve the world, you know, and we chose a very different path to yours 4 years ago. So we both 22 years old, and as Brandon said, we met. I mean, as Kirsten said, we met in school, and almost instantaneously had a connection like this. I mean, we constantly talk about how, you know, we both single children, but we've been separated at birth somehow, and I feel that there's a creative energy between us that we always want to bounce back and forth between one another, that we want to foster. And, you know, part of the first things that I want to say is, you know, and throughout this conversation, you're going to see that what we try to say and what we try to get across, you know, this is one of the earliest times in our, you know, potentially long lifespan, and with what we want to do is we want to put messages that aren't just, you know, repeats of what you've heard around, because, you know, the world's been constructed by these thoughts and ideals, and we're here to change the world. There's no reason not to, and there's no reason not to think that you can't. So when somebody says, for example, that you shouldn't be doing business, you know, with a friend, I would counter to say that you don't have the right friend group to do.
Yeah, it's like that's one of the main points that have gotten us this far. I mean, you know, we bounce things of ideas off each other. Like, it's just a very fresh and energizing way of working. You know what I mean? You're always with your friend, coming up with new ideas, going forward with different topics and whatnot. So people say, you know, yeah, don't get into business with your friend or family or whatnot, but I think it does actually make it a lot more dynamic and more, because chances of being successful, you know.
You know, part of the reason why we say that is, you know, these things in the world, you know, things in the world must not be forced, and, you know, that goes into all different aspects. It goes from relationships to business to, you know, you don't, and, you know, we get taught that at a young age. You don't be pushed into things that you don't want to do. You want to create the most natural flow between one another, and you're not going to do that if you sit in a room full of people that you've never met before, coming up with, you know, these concepts. You need to fully understand a person's passions, desires, morals, values, if you want to build something with them. You know, and, you know, and that only happens through, you know, establishing very tight relationships with the people that are around you. I know that's where we want to take this. We are on the same page because I've grown up with Brandon, you know, as a kid, and, you know, knowing what he's like, what we like, creating that constant flow between us is critical to creativity. you talk about creative flow, and you know, you can't force something. Most of all the great ideas that have come around from in our lifetime, including what myself and Brandon have done, is it starts off as meaningless conversation between two friends. You know, they say the history of great men is the history of great conversations. I can't recall exactly who says that, but it could not be more true in this case. And the reason why is because everything starts with a conversation, starts with opening up, and you have to be open with one another to do that. So find the people that you feel you are aligned to, and you will create something that you both will want to work towards because of that alignment. Anyways, so we took a completely different path to you guys 4 years ago. We were in matric 2016, and we had the choice of going to university, or you know going to UCT, for example, was one of the routes that I was told to do. Marks were good at school for both of us, but throughout our school careers, we were missing school here and there, to go and have meetings with people to try and foster and grow this idea. And you need to be able to bounce your ideas off different people, and we were doing that throughout school. And we felt that the connections and relationships that we made throughout our school career were stronger than the opportunities that university was going to offer us. Now, that's a bold thing to say, but network is a powerful thing, and not just network, but universe rewards decisions. And we decided to go forward, and let's take 1 year, to see if we can get this off the ground. And as soon as we made that decision, everything started falling into place. Action removes doubt. Conor McGregor said it in a podcast that I watched the other day, and it's one of the most inspirational and affirmative quotes that I've ever heard, because if you do something, you'll know that if you do something, you'd rather achieve and find out than sit and regret and not know.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point coming up with a concept, let's say, and go from meeting to meeting to meeting, refining it, and then just, people come up with these ideas and things they would like to try out, and like, what about this? And then go 3 to 4 meetings, what people think about it, and then just stop. So like what Zander is saying is, like, if you actually just give it a try and put it in like 100%, then okay, it works, and carry on, or it doesn't work, but like at least you'll know. You're like,
exactly. And it's critical. At a young age, we get told that there's a set path that we need to follow, and we're here to tell you to break out of the mold. You get told that there's a certain structure that you need to follow, and this is what you need to do. But we're young. We could screw things up for the next 5 years, and you'll still be 26 to 28 years old. That's a lifetime ahead of us. Society has built this perception that you need to have this and this and this by a specific time. The very fact that we are unique as individuals, which is undisputed, means that you cannot create a general perspective of how a life should be. If every life is unique, then there is no one path. There is no unique path. There is no need to say that this should happen at this time. This should happen at this time. I passionately believe that you have to try things while you're young. And obviously you guys, as the top 1% in your respective fields, are the future pioneers of these industries. It's up to you now to take these risks. The people that you've met in university, the people that you've been meeting as you go out, those people that you feel that you've made a connection with, take the time now to take a step so that you can take a leap. You need to do that when you're young, because once you get older, life happens. Responsibilities kick in. We're young and we're allowed to fall over and make mistakes. There's a reason why.
Well, Z, I think especially with Merge now, like we're not live coaches or anything, but I mean, you guys are going to finish with these crazy degrees, and then you may as well, with a friend that you know in university, take a year after university, not a gap year, but I mean, give it a chance for a year. I mean, you got the crazy degree, so if it doesn't work, you'll go get a job easily the next year. I mean,
exactly.
You start 1, 2, 3 things after school. I mean, and coming back to the point now, I mean, the platform's there for you now. The platform we've created, Merge. I mean, you can come up with X, Y. I mean, 3 businesses, put them on Merge, network, and just give it a try. You know, as a career path.
Yeah, I mean, like, don't. I said something the other day that kind of stuck with me. You know, there's painters and creatives that look into an empty canvas and they feel, you know, writer's block. There's something fearful about an empty page, an empty canvas. But what it needs to be, let the unknown inspire you. Don't let it fear you. Don't let it instill fear within you. The very fact that you don't know what might happen is something that should be exciting, because you need to instill those positive thoughts, not the negative thoughts. You know, although there might be negative things that happen, more than likely it'll probably go your way if you're doing it for the right reasons and if you pursue it. Let the unknown inspire you. Take that first step now while you still can. There is nothing to be afraid of, because if you fail, you would have learned, firstly. Secondly, you would have tried, and thirdly, you'll live with the sense that there is no sense of regret. I don't know for those of you who've experienced it, but regret is the worst feeling in the world. And like I said, action removes doubt, and doubt is the seed of regret. So yeah. Anyways, I think to briefly move it into what our platform does, we connect innovators. We connect innovators, big dreamers, and those who are looking to change the world with investors. By facilitating the connection of the two, we're trying to create a seamless path for a better future. The entrepreneurs and investors of this world are the pioneers of the futures, the creators. Your Elon Musks, your Jeff Bezos. They are your big dreamers. They are those who say, why not? They are those who question the way that things are and are trying to create a better way forward. And what our platform does, and what it has continued to do so successfully in this very short period of time, is allow for people who want to dream big, people who want to belong to something bigger than just going into the rat race and spinning around aimlessly. For those who want to create, and in that same breath, you can create anything out of anything. If your passion is fashion, you can create a fashion brand. If your passion is something to do with art, you can create an art studio. You can do anything that you want to. Your passion, anything that falls within that, you can create a business out of that. I don't believe that what we've been told is true, where certain things that you love cannot be made. You know, it doesn't make good money. It's only because the people who are saying that don't have the same passion for it as you. They don't find those avenues. I have a passion for helping people. I have a passion for creating business. I have a passion for innovation. The same people that have told me that, you know, as I've gone through this process of, you know, creating a startup, the same people that have told me, no, that this shouldn't happen, you know, you shouldn't be able to do this, or shouldn't be able to do this. They're just projecting their fears because they don't have the same understanding and passion for what I've done. I spend hours and hours on end reading about these things, so I understand it better. So don't let somebody tell you that you can't create something that of, you know, extreme lucrative income with creativity. I think art is the most beautiful thing in the world. It's one of my passions. I read up a lot about it, you know, and I think we need to explore that creative side of us. We need to tap into that. And we almost what Merge is a platform for you to put yourself out there creatively and to connect with investors that are investing into ideas. I'll get into how many connections and so on and so forth we've made. But, you know, at the end of the day, we want to create equal opportunity for those who've never had it before. It levels the playing fields, and it solves literally one of the greatest problems, one of the most critical problems that the greats of our past have tried to address, but have failed to solve, which is economic equality. At the end of the day, what drives us is the massive goal of addressing one of the greatest issues that the world has ever seen, which is economic equality. Creating access for network and access to finance to everybody is something that should exist. And it's up to us, the youth, the university students, to spread the word that platforms like this are out there, because there are no more excuses to say, you know, I don't have the network to do this. We're trying to create that. We're trying to create that platform where all these people they exist and they thrive and they want to communicate, collaborate, and connect with one another. And it's critical for the future of this planet that everybody has access to economic equality. And the only way that you're going to be doing that is through allowing access to finance to be equal. And you do that on our platform. You do that by connecting anybody with anybody. It's free. Our platform is a free service for entrepreneurs and investors to connect, because you shouldn't have to pay for something that is so critical to a country. So yeah, since going live about 3 months ago, so as Kristen mentioned, we registered the company in our naivete when we were in a trick, getting along, but we went public in our launch 3 months ago. And since then, we have created over 1,400 entrepreneurs on the platform, 400 startups that are looking for investment, 350 investors at the touch of your fingertips that you can access. In the real world, without this platform, people are lucky to know 1 or 2 people that can invest into companies. We've created a network and a community that people want to be a part of, and it's
for free.
It's essential. We've created this community of micro angels that we've coined the micro angels that are looking to create social change. The money is out there. People are looking to help one another. We've just created the facilitation between the 2 people. And in saying that, we've made over 700 connections between entrepreneurs and investors. So those are 700 new potential startups that have been created within 3 months. Now, the indirect impact of that, you can obviously, you guys would know, the multiplier effect of that is how many countless jobs have been created. And I think that also goes into the path of, steadily leads into the conversation of, why work, always have the option to work for someone to fall back on, but why not pursue something that you would want to do for yourself? Why be a part of the system if you can create your own system that you can operate within? You creating a small business has a much larger impact than you joining a company, as a menial job at the bottom. And you, as much as you guys have heard it, how important it is to have that experience. There's no experience like the real world. Getting in there, getting stuff done, you'll have a greater impact on other people's lives. And the more you give, the more you get. And I'm talking about happiness and positivity, because that's what it's about at the end of the day. Going to bed every night, knowing, okay, cool, I'm providing for more than myself. I'm creating something that's bigger than myself. That's something that we need to be aspiring towards. I think we need to think bigger, dream bigger, and make positivity louder. Surround yourself with the people that are there to foster your ideas and not just shoot them down. And I say that because it's not just me saying this. We've been featured within those 3 months. We've been featured in Entrepeneur magazine twice. We've been in VentureBurn, which is the leading publication of startups in South Africa, which is obviously where Chris got our information on our investment. We've traveled the world. I've flown to Silicon Valley and met with the founders of Tesla. Funny enough, it's not Elon Musk. Elon Musk was one of the he did an equity takeover of the company. So we've met all these influential people at such a young age, only because we took that step to take that leap. We've been in podcasts, and we were told last week that Fast Company is going to be releasing an article on us, and we are going to be featured in Fast Company's most productive people of 2020 for this year. Those things, the reason I'm telling you these things is because I am no different to you. It's critical for me to get the message across. If anything, take this away, is that there is nothing. There is nothing that is different from me to you. There's just that we took the step. We took the time to look inside and figure out what I wanted, and we just took a step forward. There is, I think it's Steve Jobs, something that said, when you realize that all the greatest things were achieved by people no greater than you, then the world becomes your oyster. I'm paraphrasing, but it's something like that. And it could not be more true. Once you realize that we are all equal, and that what that does is just, it's up to you to get to where you want to get. And you need to do that. So I'll leave you with these last notes. We want you to dream big. Nelson Mandela said, your playing small does not serve the world. There is a platform for you out there to bring your ideas and projects to life. It's no more excuses. We want you to spread the word. Do it for those who don't know any better. Do it for those who have dreamed big but have not had the infrastructure to follow through. And if none of these compel you to do so, then do it so that we can create a better world for tomorrow. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link to the platform itself. It's a universal link, so it'll register if you're on your laptop, phone, or Android devices, and it'll take you to the store. Have a look, play around, but more importantly, spread the word. Get people excited about what's going on out there. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, dream big. So yeah.
Thank you so much for
Questions?
that. Yeah, there've been quite a few questions coming through, so I'll do the ones that relate most to what you've talked about so far. I'll read the first two and then you can just answer them. So the first one says, were there any particular people that you guys had in your lives that gave you the space or platform to be able to create merge? And if so, do you think that the network of people you have in your life gives you a better opportunity to create or get creative ideas launched? And then the second question says, what advice
so can I do them one by one? I think
okay, sure.
I think that'll be better.
Yeah.
So 100%. You are a product. You are so. It's funny because you are so much a certain product of your environment, but it's up to you to to get out of that environment as well if it's a negative one. But your external influences impact your internal impacts your insides, which impacts who you are and your creative ideas. If you get told every day that no, shut down, it's a toxic environment that you need to get rid of, and you need to have those tough conversations with those people. I'm just going to read the question here again.
But I mean, Zia, just quickly, I mean, it's not like my family is like a bunch of coders, I mean, my dad's in dry cleaning and whatnot, yeah. But I mean, he's very entrepreneurial. So I mean, it's not like my dad, like I said, they're not in tech or anything that inspired us. We just thought, I mean, we had a good network. Like we went to a private school, so I asked, okay, Zander, who does your mom know? Okay, let's go to a meeting with that. Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? So our network was very good. But I mean, also like coming back to our parents, they gave us the chance to drop out of varsity. I mean, a lot of parents would say like, no, you can't. Yeah. You got to finish your 3 years, then or 4 years, and then you can give it a chance. And I think we're just very lucky that they agree with anything that they trusted us in what we were doing. I mean, we had to show them a proper business plan and whatnot. But I mean, it wasn't like
our parents were massive influences.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd be nowhere without them, and I try and always spread the word when I can. But exactly as Brandon said, it's not my family comes from humble beginnings, and they worked their way to get me into a place where they could finally put me through an education, and put me into a school that allowed me to have these great relationships with people. I think who you surround yourself with, and allowing for positivity into your life is essential. If you're not right up here, then you're never going to be right out there. I mean, the way that you see the world is only because of how your internal combustion works within your body. And that obviously, I mean, you can go into it forever, because if that comes to self-esteem, it goes to all these different, tough questions that you need to ask yourself. And you need to surround yourself and get yourself involved with people that are boosting that and allowing for that. Be open to it. But also don't be naive. Do not play dumb. Do not be ignorant to that. Work is essential to get you to where you need to go. You can't, they said, cool, we'll give you a year. They did only give us a year. If we did not get to a certain place, if we did not get our investments, then we would have gone back to school. We put our challenge out there to our families. And if you guys are feeling the same, if you have something and you've never had the chance to talk about it with your parents, open the floor. Say, put yourself out there. Say, give me a year, give me 6 months, give me two months. I don't know what it is. Just give me a chance so that I can prove myself. And then if you prove yourself, then there is no reason not to go forward with it. So yeah, that's my one question. I see there's a second question here. I don't know if we should read it or if Kirsten is.
Yeah, so the next one says, what advice would you provide based on your experience on how to influence risk-averse people which you need to buy into to make a potential business a success?
Let me just check it out. So would I check these and dismissed or answered or open or
open?
Read them? Okay.
Yeah, I was like reading it.
Yeah. I think I think it actually stems quite nicely. It dovetails quite nicely with what my last point was in the previous note, which is about you have to show that what is risk. Risk is born out of uncertainty. People say, for example, people say investing into ideas, which is part of this entire conversation, why we've been so innovative and disrupting the industry so much, is risk is highly associated with uncertainty. Not knowing the outcome is risky. It's the core of the idea. So how do you alleviate uncertainty? Is by providing certainty, and you create certainty by showcasing showcasing the people. I don't know if it's your parents that you're talking about, or even an investor. That's what a pitch is. A pitch at the end of the day is convincing people who don't have risk, who are risk averse, to invest into you. And you do that by showing growth, by showing intent.
Just work in general, like, cause we were saying at lunch today, for example, you don't have to go and get 10 million rand for your idea. I'll go ask someone for 15,000 rand to get your idea to a prototype. Then with your prototype, you can go ask someone for 50,000 rand to get it to the market. You don't have to, off the bat, just say, okay, Mom, I want 500,000 rand for this idea. I think that's also the way of presenting your idea or business, asking for the right amount of capital. Just show them development.
Yeah. And what Brandon says is essential. I think that's also one of the things that we want to leave you, that we want you to we want the world to understand, is we've been built. This idea has been ingrained into us of, watching the movies, coming up with an idea, and then all of a sudden, you're getting that $2 million investment. That doesn't work like that. It never has. I don't know where our movies have come up with those ideas, but it doesn't work like that. It's a layered approach. It comes up in steps. And you go from idea to prototype, and prototype to pre-seed. It's called pre-seed. Seed obviously being the big investment that allows you to grow. You take that first step by asking for a smaller amount initially, so that you can test your idea, test your concept. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what a sale is all about, convincing somebody to back an idea. When we come up with a new feature in our platform, for example, collaborating with venture capital firms, talking to them, although our business is established now as a startup, not as a massive Fortune 500, but as a startup, every single implementation or new thing that you add is all about, convincing people of risky ideas. And the best way to do that is also to understand perspective. You can't have your way or the highway either. You have to understand that what people are saying to you, you've got to understand their side of the story, and do meditation. I think that's a brilliant thing too. Understand, Bruce Lee said, the one who understands himself understands others. So if you understand what drives yourself, what drives other, if you understand your internal system and mechanism of what triggers you, then you can understand what will create fears for someone else. So then you can start almost creating predictive. It's almost like predictive creativity. You come up with a concept, an idea, knowing, or at least pushing the idea of what are the risks associated with this, because I can empathetically put myself in that perspective. So perspective and work, I think, are the two main things, and emotion and passion. You can't convince someone in a monotone accent about something. Be yourself. Be loud. Put yourself out there. Vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. The people that take your kindness for weakness, those are the bad people in the world. Be vulnerable. Be passionate, and put yourself out there. I think that's basically answers kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. So we do have questions still coming through. Someone asked about how you guys went about writing a business plan for your idea. They asked if you got a template, or if you just made it up like yourselves. And do you have any tips around writing business plans and pitching them to investors?
The concept is flawed. That's the answer, in short. Business plans are sorry to say, for those who study commerce and all that stuff, business plans, as essential as they are to understand, well, it's essential for you to do a business plan so that you understand what's going on. Business plans are not these massive things that, you know, that are essential. It's words on paper that never existed until you created it. And I don't know how else to put it, because all that it is it's a bunch of assumptions that have been made until the real world kicks in, and then everything goes, you know, the real world happens, and you know what hits the fan. Anyways, but like, what you've got to understand is the core. I think also in answering that question is, I don't think get bogged down in, you know, business plan, strategy, and implementation and flow of what needs to be in and what not, SWOT analysis and all those things. Remember, all these methods have been, remember what you guys are specifically learning from. In majority of the textbooks have been, you know, they're rewrites and rewritten, but they've also been the underlying foundation of it for people to understand what a business plan is so that people can understand how to get, you know, how they fit within the work system. And that's critical for, you know, once you start hiring and employing people. But a business plan is not essential for you to, you know,
start.
That's what, to start. Don't let words on paper dictate what you're going to do.
Don't write a business plan for 3 months. I mean, you know, you wasted 3 months. Like, get there when you need to get there. I mean, obviously have a plan. You know, when you go on like that sort of more, that's what Zander's, I think, saying. I mean, it gives you a plan, but you can make a plan up in a day and then just get going. You know, and obviously if you're asking for a loan from a bank, sure. But yeah, then you can use a template and.
But I think the key thing to base this entire business plan model around is what problem are you solving? Start with that. Start with the problem, start with a solution. If you can answer those two questions, the business plan will sort itself out. That's just research and information that you just need to find. There's always, we were having lunch with a business partner earlier, with a friend of ours who's also starting a new business. And we were talking exactly about this, which is every single business solves an underlying problem. Take Tesla, for example. It's not, they don't solve the problem of, you know, creating electric cars. They've made it affordable to everybody. That's what they did. That was the problem that they solved. They made it easy. They made it affordable to have electric cars. Take Amazon, for example. They made B2C, so business to consumer networks, seamless. It was something that didn't happen, but it was a problem that's the underlying problem throughout. If you can figure out the underlying problem, there's a book. So if there's a book I can recommend you all to read, it's called The Lean Startup by Eric Rice. And it goes into basically testing your MVP, taking the leap of faith is what they call it. And that is the underlying core of what your business is. And before you even start writing your business plan, that's what you need to do. You need to test that underlying problem that you're solving. Ours was, and we did this in school, do Entrepeneur. It seems like silly to do, but you don't know. All of these things that you come up with are ideas in your head. Once you put it out into the market, then it only gets tested by the people that are going to use it. Ours was, do entrepreneurs want to be connected to investors? It sounds like an obvious one, but it's something that needs to be, that's the problem that we're solving. So start with a problem, build around your solution, and the rest will follow for a plan. But just get going is really the answer. Don't sit and wait.
Thank you so much. So the next question is, what challenges did you encounter when starting your business? How did you overcome them? And how did you market merge as you have a number of investors and entrepreneurs that have joined the network?
I think off the bat, I mean, the first challenge, I mean, like it takes long. I mean, it's funny because we were rebuilding the app. That's the process that we went through. Like we wanted investors the whole time because we were in school, we didn't have our own money. And like after like 20 meetings, I mean, we still didn't have our investment. So like you start doubting yourself, and it's like, you know, like, is it actually a good idea? Like, should we just, you know, everyone's saying, yeah, it's a good idea, talk to this guy. You know, yeah, it's a good idea, talk to this guy. So I mean, there is a sense of doubt that, well, maybe that was one of the challenges. Like, you know, Z, should we just pack it up? You know, we haven't got it yet. And literally when we thought that, we got that investment like the next meeting. And then also from that investment, the challenge was, when you read it, the first 750,000 rand we got was basically a total waste of money. I mean, the challenge was we chose the wrong developers. We didn't do enough research before. We just like, one of the first investors just like, yeah, cool. We're at a co-working place, and he's like, yeah, we're just going to use a developer downstairs. No, that he wasn't equipped to build like the social media. So I mean, yeah, those are the challenges. Like after that, we blew the money, and it's like, but we don't even have a proper platform and software. So I mean, there's always points of where you might actually give up from these challenges, but yeah, we never really even looked into that.
You've got to have undeniable passion for what you want to do, and I don't mean in a sense of undeniable passion that's just blind, but you've got to, and I believe passion is completely linked. Well, for me, it's completely linked towards drive. Drive and passion are obviously supremely correlated with one another, but I have an insane drive because I know what I'm doing solves a problem. That problem to me is something that's pertinent and something that solves a real issue, not in South Africa but around the world. And that's what kept us going. It's knowing that what we're going to do changes the world. And like I said, You're Playing Small does not serve the world. You need to be like, we have to all. I wish I could inspire everybody to think that they would be icons, because you are in your own right. Carrying on from what Brandon was saying, that investment, that was probably the lowest point that we were ever in. Our investor just gave us all the money. All the money that was put into it was basically thrown into the bin with a very faulty product that didn't work. And now, you know, the worst thing about it was, you know, they said they were going to do it in 3 months. It took them a year to get it done. So now it's not only the money that I've wasted, but I've wasted something more, which is the time. And it's almost like all of that for nothing. But
yeah, not totally nothing. You know, like you obviously learned a few things from these, you know, lessons. But I mean, like, yeah, like as I was saying,
what happened? We bumped into, well, we didn't bump into, as we launched, there was an Entrepeneur magazine article that came out that gave us enough exposure for us to find our second investor while we fired our developers. What happened was we took on the risk. We took on a short-term like loan, basically just to keep the dream alive. And what we did was we backed ourselves. We knew like I said, we knew what we were doing would work. It was only a matter of time. We backed ourselves because we said, okay, I mean, everything that we've done, nothing's been given to us by our friends or family. All of the stuff that's done it's been self from extra. It's been a project that myself and Brandon have done. It's not something that, you know, we were gifted by, you know, friends and family. So, you know, when you take on like a loan for people that are 20 years old of, you know, hundreds of thousands of rands, you're not, you know, it's a scary thing to do. But if you back yourself and you get it done, what happened was, just in time as the repayment was meant to come in, we met the investors, Platform Capital, and they, you know, we learned our lesson. I like to say squeeze the lemon. We took what we learned from our mistakes, and we knew, okay, cool, let's find the best developer. Let's not waste around with it. And then once we created a new product, and that new product allowed us to get our international funding for a business that's very early stage. It's something that's not really, that it doesn't in the space that we play in. For such a big investor to invest in such an early stage business, and the growth is shown. So I think let me just check out here. Sorry, I think I don't know if there was anything else I needed to add yet, but I think you have to back yourself. You have to keep at it. It's long, and you've got to love what you do.
Well, hopefully our app will make it quicker as well.
Yeah, well, that's yeah. There's that too.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for answering that question. The next one is, do you believe there is some sort of pattern or formula to become a successful entrepreneur? And what would you say are the top 3 skills needed to be a successful entrepreneur?
That's a good question.
Well, I think when you say pattern, I think the pattern throughout all of these icons that Zander's mentioned, Elon Musk, etc. I think number 1 would obviously be hard work and drive, you know, just off the bat as a skill. And then, yeah, you've got to be adding value. I mean, you guys are all very skilled individuals currently. I mean, and will be skilled as soon as after you graduate. So, I mean, you've got to have drive off the bat, and then I would do something that is in your skill. You know what I mean? There's no point doing 4 years of accounting and then going and start an art company, you know? Like, drive off the bat and then dive into your skill, yeah.
I think
which I hope is what you love. Otherwise, you're in the wrong thing.
I hope it's an interesting question. I didn't jump into it because I wanted to spend some time thinking about it. I think there is no set. I don't think there is a set formula, to be honest. I think there are key traits that exist. I don't think there's a method that exists. I think the very fact that there is no method is the method. Now, what I mean by that is the very fact that every single thing is unique. Because every individual is unique, right? Their traits and skill sets, there can only be small little characteristic traits that could be, you know, drawn throughout that. So like Ryan said, passion, hard work, so on and so forth. But don't rely on that. I mean, you know, those are skills that you know if you have or not. But that should not dictate. Don't let that dictate where that gets you, because I think the very fact that there is no formula for success for an individual, that all these people were different in their approaches and the way that they were brought up, is something that should excite you, because then what does that mean is why can there not be you? Why can there not be you can create something? And to me, like I said, those common things, I think creativity is something I think there's things that are inherited, that you get born with. But I think there's things that you can groom. Creativity, go out, explore, go to comedy, go to art, like go to museums. The more, it's funny because, you know, people spend their lives buried down on their phones or books, but the whole world is going on around them while they try to live through the world through a phone or, you know, through a screen or a book. Being immersed into the world allows you to understand the problems of people. It allows you to be a universal citizen, because it allows you to understand people. Be a people's person. I think that's the biggest thing. Empathy and creativity. Creativity is key, but more like, you know, more than that, it's essential for you not to try and identify, you know, things where you're like, oh, I don't have that. Rather understand that, you know, you are unique, and your uniqueness is your greatest asset, because we can both go through the same day, but I can tell you a completely different experience if it comes to the end of it. And what I mean by that is your approach and your way that you will do things will completely redefine the problem. And I think that's also a point, just to branch off on that, which is important, is don't think that people are out there to steal your ideas. That doesn't exist out there. Like, the very fact that you're unique allows you to see certain problems and challenges and a way to implement them that no one else can. And because of that, you know, people could take an idea, but they'll implement it differently. So that's also just something to think about.
Thank you so much. I have one other question here. It says, I think one of the seasons I'm in right now is the fear of starting small or something like that. I realize that because of other contributing factors, I can't go as big as the vision is. So my question is, how do I start the business without creating consumer expectations that will go beyond what I can offer now?
So you don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of the greatest challenges that everyone faces. I think speed is the key to your specific question. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, so capital is the fuel of businesses, obviously. And and by that, it accelerates you towards that vision that you want to work towards. So I feel like you are in the space where you know what you want to do, you know what you want to get done. You just need the capital to get there, and you're afraid that it's going to take too long for that to happen. Now, don't let that fear stop you from doing what you want to do. People are more forgiving than you think. Like we said, we had a whole, we developed an entire platform that was great, you know, in theory, because it was the same theory that we have, but the execution was poor on our developer side. And although it feels gut-wrenching to you, people are quick to understand that it's okay. The book that I was telling you about, the Lean Startup, they talk about the early adopters. These are the people that you want to be targeting with regards to the launch of a product. I'm an early adopter in things. I mean, I sign up to things before things come out. I like experience. I don't mind playing around with things that are a bit buggy or a bit, you know, dilapidated, or experimental. I love that for my own reasons. But those are the people that you need to be targeting for your business, for that vision, because they'll help you create that.
Yeah, they'll forgive you.
Bigger circle.
Well.
They will forgive you. And the thing is,
yeah,
you know, start with a small test group. Start with a small test group. You know, get them out there and convince them of that bigger vision. But I don't think that you should be afraid that what you're going to create is going to underdeliver. That sounds like self-doubt, and I think you need to alleviate that.
Cool. Thank you so much. The rest of the questions we have are a bit more technical or a bit more about your app in particular. So the first one says, does Merge only connect investors with investors in South Africa, connect innovators with investors in South Africa, or is it international?
It's well, currently right now,
our target market is South Africa. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so currently, obviously, because we markets within South Africa itself, you know, think of this sphere of influence. South Africa is our first point of contact. But obviously, you know, we've got investors from the UK on the platform. We've got people from Trinidad and Tobago. We've got people from the UK, British and Virgin Islands, Nigeria, Ghana, and that goes for the same for the businesses. It's all about positioning where we market our thing, but our platform is meant to be a global platform. Think of this. Think of a world where you could drop a pin in, you know, China, India, South Africa, Brazil, Sao Paulo, anywhere. And what happens when you drop your pin there, you can search for the opportunities that are around there. What we're doing is we're creating a decentralized network of money that is channeling throughout the world. And that's essential, because what you're doing is, to answer your question, is two things as well. We want to encourage local investments, so investors to invest in local businesses, but we also want to encourage, we also want to facilitate international investment, allowing international investors to, you know, grow your economy. And that's why it's getting so much media attention, is because we're solving critical problems like growing the economy with, you know, solving two of the three core pillars, which is growing a business. You know, startups create employment, and startups make up something like most of the economy. Then exports and imports, we don't do that. So, you know, SME growth and investments are the two of the three main pillars of economic growth. And that's why, you know, that's why I encourage you guys to share it. I need you guys to spread the word out there, because I mean, I put a video out the other day and I said that, to me, it's not selling. It's not like I'm trying to sell you a shoe that's not for your foot here. There's a tool out there that people need to be made aware of, and it's up to you guys. It's up to the university students. We know that that's where, you know, ideas spread. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much. We do only have about 6 minutes left, so I'll try and pick like the biggest questions. So the next one is, I don't know the stats, but only a small portion of startups survive the first couple of years in business. Taking the money, time, and the opportunity cost of trying to create a business into account, don't you think it's a very costly risk to be taken?
Sure, but the rewards are insane.
Yeah,
you know, we just put it all on the line. We're those type of people. It is not for everyone.
Not for everyone.
As much as we want to convince you to that it is, but it's not a gamble, I would say. I mean, if you have a good, you know, vision and, you know, like how you're going to execute, then everything's a gamble. Like, if you think about it. But I mean, we're very risky people. Like, I would rather, you know, like the return of investments on these startups is normally like 10x. I mean, we spend like, let's say 1.5 million rand on the startup. Like, we expect, you know, 10 million in 3-4 years. So I mean,
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't think it's just about, well, it's 100%. The returns are so much better, but I also think, I think it also comes down to, you know, happiness and all that stuff too. There's that entire side of it as well. You know, let me put this, and that goes two ways. I'll keep it short. The opportunity cost. What is the opportunity cost of going into a business, of becoming an employee? The opportunity cost is that we've been all told that, you know, once you get this degree, I'm going to get into this job and this and this and this happens. But for some reason, we all think to believe that, but we all know it's not true. We all know that you get an entry-level job, that you get stuck in there, and then that happens as well. I think that's also something to consider. But you know, and you know, that's just my perspective. I've been entrepreneurial through and through since I was a child. But also, I think for me, it's bigger than, you know, financial return. I think you got to love the process of, you know, getting nitty gritty. You know, like the challenge. If you don't like the challenge, then the game's not for you. And you know, that's part of the things that inspires you to get going. And also, if you're solving a real problem, you know, like I said, you sleep easy at night knowing that you're not part of a cog.
Thank you so much.
I see some questions here as well.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to do one more because we are running out of time.
Sure.
It says, taking into account the current pandemic we are in, how protected is your business from unprecedented things such as the coronavirus?
Okay, I have been waiting for this question for a very long time. The reason is, I think it's an eye opener. What this is it is the passing of the guard. If you take, and you must bear with me with these ideas, but if you take a glass bottle, for example, it's something that's unnatural. It's something that can't be, if you leave it on the ground, it takes years and years and years or forever to be recycled. Now, viruses, you know, any massive global events are all natural occurrences that exist. Technology is a man-made construct that we have created that does not blend in with the natural world. I think what this is going to do is this is going to indicate and highlight how essential it is for your company to be not even some form of technology element. It has to be completely technologically, it has to exist it has to be technology based, because if you look at Amazon, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, every single one of those, the big 5 companies, all of their valuations have skyrocketed. The reason why is they're tech companies. They have not been influenced by the virus one bit. It has accelerated their growth because what it has done is that it's shown the cracks in the system. You know, driving out to go get shoes, clothes, or whatever was always the problem that Jeff Bezos was solving, allowing it to be delivered to your door. A pandemic like this, a natural occurrence like this, has shaken the natural world. But technology is through and through shown that it can stand the test of time through these natural occurrences. So I would say bear technology in mind. Anyways, Bran, do you have the link that you can drop? I don't know if you have.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I mean, it's wonderful. I could talk about this stuff all night, but I know you guys obviously have a busy schedule. I think just go get the link if you can. Kristen, thanks for inviting us. I think it's great, and I'm sure we'll probably do it again. Hopefully not online next time, but I mean, we wouldn't mind doing it. But you know, yeah, thank you for that, and thank you for everybody attending. I think what we'd like to do is we'd like to send you this link, and if Kristen, if you can send it out there to the people as well as a follow-up, because at the end of the day, the future is in your hands. We've made something that allows you to take on the world and you know, use this platform. We've changed the lives of 700 people in 3 months. I think there's a changing of the guard with regards to this entire space. Dream big and just do it.
Thank you so much. So I would just like to thank everyone for coming today. I'm sure you've all found the webinar to be really, really inspiring. I'd also like to thank 𝘀𝗽𝗶𝗿𝗴𝗴 Southern Africa for allowing us to host on their platform. Yeah, just to make the admin easier. And I have put the link to the Entrepeneur South Africa link that has Brandon and Zander's article on it. So if you would like to learn more about their business and everything they've gone through, you can definitely read that article, follow them on LinkedIn and all of their company social media, which we will put in a follow-up email. Yes, and the video will be uploaded onto YouTube under 𝘀𝗽𝗶𝗿𝗄𝗃 Southern Africa, so you can just go to their page if you did miss anything or want to see watch anything again. So yeah, thank you guys so much for taking the time to speak to us today. We've had really good feedback already, so thank you so much. And yeah,
Awesome.
Thank you everyone for coming out.
Great. Have a great evening, guys. Thank you for your time.
Thanks. Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.